Okay. Deanie's running the meeting.
Okay.
I'm the secretary.
It's 9:06, and we'll call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, and we're waiting for Deb. She's not here, but we'll begin. Should we
authorize Tammy and Ed?
Yep.
At least until. Oh, there's Deb.
Okay.
We still, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you did last meeting, you're authorized.
Authorized. Ed Pin, do we need a motion for that?
No.
No. Okay. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes of the July 10th meeting, the August 21st meeting, and the September 11th meeting. Should we ask for a motion for the three individually, separately?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 10th meeting? Yes.
Second.
Okay. Any objections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the August 21st special meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. And our meeting last week, September 11th, regular meeting, is there a motion to approve?
I did not. Second.
I'll make the motion. Okay. Second.
Oh, wait a sec. Who's made the motion? You? Second.
Second.
Okay. Good. So, meeting minutes are approved. The first order of business is a public hearing for the Roger Torrey Peterson Estuary Center.
That's here for this case.
Okay. Okay, there you are. Okay.
You have to come up, let's be clear. Sounds terrible, we know that.
You do sound terrible. Okay. So, do you have some further information for us?
Just what we did from our last week, which she passed on to you, which is the PO information. We were all set. I'm trying, this is actually the valid, you know, like, I'm so bad.
What's the date that that was Deanie?
The what?
The email that contains all of this was from Martha.
Oh, there were two separate.
Let me read this just in case anyone's on the phone and for people who don't have it. Description of the project. This is up to 16 story signs located on the south side of the property beginning approximately 180 feet from Lime Street. Storyboard walk signs are 18 inches high, 24 inches wide, quarter inch thick. Signs will be placed approximately 10 to 14 feet apart along the southern property line. Signs will be quote-unquote planted in a bucket filled with concrete and placed in the ground. This allows for removing them if damaged, for protection, etc. Each sign will have an aluminum post and at a 45-degree angle. Sign posts are about 3 feet tall. This height allows children and adults to view them easily. Plantings have not been finalized, however, the list of options include native blue stem grasses, winterberry, holly, elderberry, and buttonbush.
Is there a color on that, on the posts?
It's like a brushed black.
Black, right. So we should
It's not shiny.
maybe mention that.
So matte black.
Matte black, yeah.
And are the plantings around it or near it?
Our
Or
condition is matte
Yes.
black, yeah.
It'll be on the side, people need to be able to get to the post.
Right.
We're gonna put plantings in front of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Deb, what was your
I
question?
asked if the plantings were going to be around it, on the side of it, or where were the plantings going to be specifically? So is it going to be similar to the display that's at the library, the witness stone?
The structure of the sign is very, very similar.
Okay.
The main difference is the sign, the witness stone sign top is just a flat printed on top, as opposed to this, which is a 1/4 inch thick, like case.
Right.
With a clear top that you can
Oh,
take
okay.
out the look inside.
So then what is the thickness of the case?
Just a
Oh, okay, okay.
I think that our hope would be that the plantings that you've suggested would, in time sort of fill in the line of signs, would soften that so that what would end up being more visible, if anything is visible, was just the storyboards themselves. So to the extent that the plantings can do that, grasses will die, in the winter, but these other ones will create some fullness.
Yeah. Hi, Deanie. This is Russ. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Russ.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm not there in person. Yeah, I think the screening with the planting would be between the line of sight between Lime Street and the signage would be the note, and that's kind of what I envisioned or my understanding from the last meeting.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I missed.
The line of sight between Lime Street and the sign, the screening, the vegetation screening, will be between Lime Street and the signage.
Yes.
Well, there is Russ. Are you referring to the existing sort of shrubbery there that exists now, and then these signs, as they've been described on our sidewalk, they're going to be set sort of into that property, into that line? Is that the screening you mean, or do you mean additional screening?
I mean, whether it's existing or new screening, my recommendation is that the C of A approve based on screening, just like we would do for like a mechanical equipment or some other piece of equipment, that there would be a vegetative screening between the sign and Lime Street. Well, if there's an existing screening vegetation, that's fine, right? But where there's not, the hope would be that there would be new screening.
Well, as we mentioned, I think there was consensus last meeting that our major concern is not having stuff that jumps out at you as you drive down Lime Street. So to the extent you can sort of tuck them back in a little, so the edge of the screening.
You'll see maybe one or two. If you slow down the car at the exact angle, the sun looking at the right exact time of day. Other than that, you won't be able to see it between our Japanese chestnut, our currant cedar, our oak trees, and our garden, which is sunken, but it's also raised on the side. So maybe there's a 3-foot area, the sun is at the right angle, hitting the post, and then coming up at you. Other than that, you don't have a line of sight. You will not have a big line of sight.
Yeah, I remember looking at the drawings. I guess you had the drawings last time, and we looked at it, and from Lime Street, there was like a little cone that went between.
Yeah.
And I guess you don't even really know if the sign is going to be there yet, right, until you...
We know, Jeannie and Sean and myself and Claudia, right, when we saw where it was going to be, like the first one. And the odds of seeing it are so slim.
Do you have the drawings?
Oh, that you're in our driveway.
Oh, yeah.
But if by chance it is visible, it would be... Yeah, they'll be easy.
I only have that. I don't have it, but there's no schematic.
Right, but I mean from
Go.
Wall Street.
A lot of bigger. Yeah,
Maybe we should have that.
It's not a fact.
'Cause
We
I
did
didn't
discuss that at length.
We did.
You don't want to touch your David.
know, there's a schematic drawing of,
That shows each line.
All right, so Russ, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here, Deanie. Yeah.
Would someone like to make a
Let
motion?
me try, I handed a motion that, I move that the proposal be approved as submitted in the C of A with the conditions that the aluminum be a matte black and that the vegetative screening minimize the line of sight between the signs and Lime Street. Go ahead.
I don't think that includes their current plan for the vegetation to be planted between the signs to soften the length. So I think we should have both.
That's already in there.
That's already in there.
That's in
No, it's
the,
already in the
These
Yeah.
are additional, yeah.
Okay.
and then, well, is there a second to that motion?
I second that, John, if I can do that.
Sure.
I support that, yeah.
And then I would also just have the minutes reflect that the approval includes the possibility of changing the content. So, as we discussed last meeting, you don't have to come back for every new book.
It should have been in the COA.
I didn't
Road
see,
giving,
I didn't see that.
Don't we not have jurisdiction over content?
No, not the specific, but when content changes.
I see, okay. We're all learning.
Okay, so motion's made and seconded.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
I take it Russ is back.
Yeah, Russ is back.
Yeah.
You're now-
Okay, thank you
you're
for-
authorized.
Hope you feel better. All right. Are we ahead of time? Imagine that. Yeah, we're ahead of time. Our next public hearing is 97 Lime Street. And you're here for 97?
The Web Learning Center?
No,
Oh, okay.
you're 57.
Okay.
Oh, Todd Brink, are you, they were going to attend by phone?
Yes. Well,
Is Todd there?
it's 20 after, Deanie, he's set for 25 after.
Okay.
housekeeping, could we switch those two? No, where is it?
Right here.
No, but this isn't the most recent one. She added the traffic on the most recent agenda.
Yeah, maybe,
But she just put it after the Ludington sign.
okay.
So I'm wondering if we could do it before, and then for the sign, we go outside. Isn't that what we talked about?
Doing the, say that
I
again.
thought we were going to walk out to see where this is.
The Ludington sign?
Yeah. Did I make that up?
No, I think we were. I don't think we did, though. I think you're correct. I think we said we would, but we didn't.
Well,
Well, we have to do that at the end.
It's on the agenda for today. So
So I don't.
I
think we
just
can-
want to get consensus that we can talk about that issue before
Good.
we go outside, and then we can
Yes,
adjourn outside.
yes, of course.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm Todd Brink, another 4 minutes.
Give him another few minutes and
Yeah.
maybe Joe.
Oh, is there objection
No?
to switching,
Yeah.
talking about?
Going to the Learning Center?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's here, and
Why
then
don't we, you're
Todd
here,
can
why don't we
wait.
do this?
Should I take this side, Steve?
Yeah, that would be great. Here is
So my name's David Noe. I'm with 360 Design Plus, working with the Old Lyme Learning Center.
What we had last night.
And
All the photos and everything.
what we did is made some changes per comments from the last meeting. I think one of the good places to start would be the front elevation, because we had talked about the windows in the door, some of the glazing on the door. So what we provided was 3 different options, and I think the Learning Center is willing to, whatever you guys prefer, we would be willing to go with. So this is the first option, which is pretty similar to what's there now. So it's two panels of glazing, small, very traditional. And this would be a wood door, painted wood door, similar to what's there now. We're showing the same colors as the existing door. So that was option A and what we had submitted to the board. And that's over. You guys can pass that around. So option B was a little larger pane, similar in style to that. So these, in all these, the lower panels would be raised panel, very traditional.
And then for people on the phone, does that have 3 divided panes? 2? or
Two large, like half the,
2 over 2, Russ.
half the height of the door. And then for the mutton bar, we're going to be using the Marvin Integrity windows. And those would be a 5/8 simulated divided light, so very similar to what's here in size. Which again is very common for that time period, the skinnier bars. B, pass that around. And then the third option would be similar to A, but with 4 small lights across the top. This you do see on a lot of traditional homes. And again, the same raised panels below and a painted wood door. Like I said, I think
Are they all identical for on the raised panels?
yeah, there would be a very very traditional
Do you see?
raised panel with probably an OG bead around the rails and stiles.
I like this one.
And then as part of that front facade, we talked about moving the existing HVAC over to the side. As part of our submission, we updated the site plan to show this HVAC unit being moved over here, so it won't be seen along the front.
It's there now.
Oh.
The window unit.
Makes the door look
This one is existing, yeah.
behind the bushes.
Yeah, behind the bushes
Oh,
on
I
the ground.
see, yeah.
Yeah, and then we're also going to remove any in-wall units. There's a couple in-wall units on the side
Right.
that are going to come out and get patched.
Okay.
And when
Well,
you
I don't know.
move that
Raise
one
that.
from the front to the side,
Mhm.
That's,
where on the side are you moving to?
Okay, wait, we gotta have for the phone one.
We're talking about doors.
I know, look, but let's let him.
Do you
Okay.
guys want to stay on the doors and then we'll come back to this?
If we- do you
Well,
want-
maybe that's more efficient.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you. Since the windows are 3 over 3, had you considered a door with 3 lights? You gave us only 2
Oh, the
and
four
4.
across the top? We haven't.
It would be consistent with the windows, just asking.
Right. So we typically see either 2 or 4. We could definitely try one with 3. So it's often like you try and make them a little more vertical in orientation than horizontal, if you can.
I prefer the 4 than to the 2 and 4.
Do you want me to send those to Russ?
Oh, sure, then, I'm sure he.
You don't have
Hey,
to.
Russ?
You don't have
I have the doors. I have the drawings. Thank you.
Oh, you have the 3 different ones?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So this is a-
Jeannie's running the meeting. Carolyn's looking at me.
So I think you're asking us what we prefer, is that right?
I believe so.
Is that sort of where you all are, or
Yeah,
do you have a preference, or?
I have a preference of A or C, the B windows, the large windows. I just have an issue with maybe security,
Right.
safety, and
So
also.
you prefer these two
Yeah.
to this one?
Yeah, because
Correct.
that
Okay.
one, Yeah,
So many people can see it.
Yep.
Right.
And so
Right.
security and safety and also.
I completely agree with that.
Right, definitely.
So the options
The
are,
3 windows, because it gives us a little bit more light.
You mean the one with the 4?
Oh, is it 4 now?
We have one with 2 and one with 4.
Oh, 4, yeah.
well, so the options are 2, 4, or the suggestion was 3.
Hypothetically, 3.
I think the one with 4 makes the door look a little wider.
Right.
I do too.
It's traditional. This one sort of looks like a back or a side door.
It does.
Just to me.
I mean, of this choice, I think the 4 is more in keeping with the,
Right, with the windows and
With the
whole- and
windows
and the
and-
style.
I think that's my
And that's
preference
just
as well. I think
more
that's
modern
smart.
to
Yes,
you know.
right. They both look nice. But,
Well, we could say 3 or 4 and leave it up to you. I mean, the possible advantage of a 3 is you got 3s in all the sets of windows, so it would kind of match.
But if not available, the 4.
I'm sure we could have it made. I haven't seen 3. I don't know. Have you ever seen 3 though? I don't know if I've ever seen 3 across the top.
3 across. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, we could certainly have that made with 3.
Okay, 'cause
So I think 3 or 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
So that's kind of open to us then.
thanks.
And again, as part, if you want to stay on the front facade, maybe just keep going.
Right.
We also proposed a very traditional light fixture at this point, which was,
I'm sorry, have we come back to the air conditioner? 'Cause
oh yeah, stand there. Yeah. Yeah, so the air conditioner, we're going to move to the side here.
How far back?
We had it like right in here. We weren't way back here. So because we're not sure the length of that line set. So what the goal would be up in that second floor to pull it across and come straight down. Just due to the length of the existing copper line set.
It doesn't fit with our practice to have it flush to the front.
Okay.
So if it can be set back a few feet, but then screening, bushes to screen it,
Do you think between these 2 windows would
that would be as far back as feasible would be.
Okay.
Could it go in the back of the property, or yeah?
No, shouldn't answer.
Well, the only thing is, it depends how long that line will stretch, and I think it exists, so we don't really have to move it back, but we're gonna move it so that it's better, and we can move it, past the front corner, but just as long as the line doesn't reach, otherwise we gotta replace the line on the second floor.
Right.
Okay.
So as far back along
Set it back as best we can.
Right.
and screen it with vegetation or,
Evergreen vegetation.
so that the front of the house remains, traditional. There's not a modern appendage on the side of it. The idea is to keep it that way, so. And moving it back allows you to do that because you can plant something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the street side, we'll see
Mhm.
the original. Yeah, and then as part of that front, we're proposing like a dark night sky light fixture, very traditional lantern style. This is in the package as well.
And that would go where?
The one next to the window as it is now. I'm sorry, the door.
Next to the front door, John.
Just
Right at the door.
replacing this.
Yep.
Russ, do you have any questions about the lighting?
It appears to be an historic style fixture, so I think in this case it's all about the bulb that goes in it, and that it have a cap at the top to minimize light towards the sky. So the recommendation would be a bulb at like 2,700 Kelvin or below 3,000 Kelvin for sure, and then a cap at the top. as part of the
Yeah, we
fixture.
probably have a, like a filament style bulb. That, yeah, it's very, very warm
Right.
and not high in lumens.
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
So that, as far as some of the questions, the chimney we're going to keep very similar in height. We had 4'4" to the top that we're proposing.
One question I have on that, I noticed in the rendering, it looks like the chimney is moved.
Yeah.
In the drawings, it's center lined on the main gable.
Oh,
Center,
that one?
and this one's over here instead of up there.
Yeah, I think that's a rendering
Okay.
mistake. It would definitely.
You're not moving the chimney, right? You're keeping it in the same location, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
going to
thank
keep
you.
it in the same location. It's 24 by 20 wide, so we keep the same proportions and the same, height proportions as well.
Perfect. Thank you. It looks good.
Thank you. And I think you guys had asked the size of the addition. So the addition portion is 178 square feet. That's for the teacher's lounge with the bathroom. And then the connector portion between the two buildings was 113 square feet coming across. I believe those were the items that we were asked to hit.
And the roof and siding all match the main house, correct? On the addition?
Yeah, everything will be the same. So we're going to do a same color roofing in a GAF, which is like a black gray shingle, and then the white vinyl siding, which is a 4-inch exposure.
I thought you said last time the roofing would remain.
On the new portion.
Oh, on the new portion.
Yeah, and it'll blend into the existing.
Are there any other questions?
Is there a light at the door on the new addition?
Yes, there should be. Yeah.
I'm not seeing it in the drawing. Just
On the addition that we're adding,
yeah.
there would be light underneath the connector. That's where that door is.
Recessed up there?
We could either recess or do a similar fixture on the wall.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Which is a similar fixture.
Or a smaller version of it.
Right.
Is there a covered walkway there now, or is it just?
No. So this is new here, coming between the two buildings.
What's there now is open, so people get rained on moving between buildings.
Right.
This is better. People can stand here and wait to be picked up.
Right.
Do you, any of you have any further comments?
No, just thrilled with
What he said.
Thank you.
Very good.
Let me try my, well, I've got the list. Let me try my hand at a motion. So you're switching from Anderson to Marvin for all the windows?
Yeah, we believe it's a better window. It's more traditional looking, and we can get it in the 5/8 SDL, the simulated divided light. In all honesty, it's just a better quality window.
All right, let me try my attempt at a motion. I would move that we approve the C of A as submitted with the following changes and conditions. That the front door be solid wood and either 3 or 4 windows on the top, arranged horizontally. That the windows be Marvin with 5/8 inch, what are they, mullions?
Mullions. I mean, that's what I've always called them.
Yeah. Rather than Anderson windows. That the HVAC unit currently in the front of the house be moved to the south side, with the as far back from the front as possible, and be screened with evergreens, at least to the height of the unit.
Do you want lattice also, or some sort of wood screening?
There's a lot going on there, on that whole side.
That might make it a bit too busy. That's my thought. You can amend, or see about amending. That what were we going to do with the wall AC units?
Those are all going to come out and get patched in with siding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that the wall air conditioning units be removed. That the front door have a historic light fixture, similar in look to what's there presently, with a cap at the top and lighting below 3,000 Kelvin. That the chimney be in the same location and style and height. It's already in here that it's veneer brick.
Weren't you reducing the height?
You were going to reduce the height, weren't you?
We did. So it's off like 5/8, we're shooting at 4/4.
Yeah.
Oh, so 4.
Width and length are the same.
Same location, style, and width, and length, and a height of 4/4. That the new, the new room isn't going to affect the exterior, is it?
No, it's going to be the same.
Are you changing?
Same plane across.
So you're not changing anything on the outside?
No.
So we won't note the square footage for that, but that the connector, which is open, be 113 square feet. That there be a similar light in the connector by the doorway, similar to what's on the front of the house. And the roofing for the new, is it just the connector where you're replacing the roof?
The connector, anything where we have to patch in, possibly,
Okay.
When we redo the chimney.
The roofing for patching and on the connector be the same as currently on the house, or match what's on the house. Russ, what did I forget?
I think that's it. There's one other thing I'm seeing on the landscape plans. I'm seeing some lights that are on poles, or it says proposed light. Are there any additional lighting elements out in the, I see it kind of in front of the new addition next to the well.
So this site plan was an existing survey from the past.
Okay.
None of this information outside of the building. We really use this site plan to show the new teachers lounge and the connector. That was all part of another proposal in the past. So those aren't part of.
Got it. So the only lights are the two that we've discussed then. Yeah. Okay,
Correct.
I think it's good, John. Yeah.
Was the site plan included with the HOA?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, then I think we should note that the lights shown on the submitted site plan out on the property in the landscape not be
right, yeah, so we
not be
can,
included.
when we submit this for, things, I mean, we'll have to take off, so.
They're already there.
Okay,
Is there a motion? I'll make a motion to approve.
that was my motion.
That was your motion. I'll second that motion.
Okay,
I thought you were just phrasing it.
I was stumbling through trying to read my notes.
Any opposed?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the prep. It helps us a
Yeah,
lot.
it's going to be great.
That looks great.
Thank you very much, appreciate your time.
Thank you for all the time you've taken to.
Ecstatic when it's done, right?
When, the date,
With that,
when will it be finished?
when will we finish?
Started yet.
They all laugh. When will it be started?
March.
Wow.
When did we meet the first time? Was it this winter,
It was
right?
in winter, it was cold.
It was
yeah.
in March.
Yeah, we just like the third week of February, third week of February, we met.
So it's not such a,
Right,
I mean,
so-
in some ways, it's sort of condensed into,
Yeah. We all have to come to our open house.
yeah,
Yes,
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
very much for your time and
Yeah.
your input.
yeah.
I'm
Thank
ready.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Good, thank you.
Good.
I don't know, Tammy, do you remember, were you here when the first proposal?
David on? Community outreach, maintaining the library and community calendars, board and committee reports.
Hello?
Hello? That was just a,
Russ, are you still there?
oh.
I'm still here, John. Somebody
Okay.
else jumped off.
That sounded like Tim, and I don't know.
It
Sounded
was
like
Tim.
Tim, yes. It was Tim.
You're welcome to sit in, Tim.
It's our party line.
Is Todd Brink on the line?
Or Teresa.
Or Teresa?
You know, at the last, but when they were here and they got up to leave, they did say, like, they didn't commit to this meeting. They
Ah.
said, or maybe October.
Oh. No, I didn't hear that. I think we thought maybe that they were
Well,
coming.
do we have time in October? What's the date of their C of A?
Right. The date of their CRA is...
No,
September 12th?
no, that's start date.
No,
This one's
next page.
always a
Second
little
page.
hard.
When they signed it, it was September 12th.
It should be simpler. 9/12.
Oh, okay, well, we're fine then
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
October.
Yeah. Okay. So that's continued. All right.
We're running ahead, wow.
So do we want to handle the traffic memo
Yeah,
first
if that's agreeable to,
before we get into the sign?
The day after the meeting, there were town police set up in front of the fire department, doing radar. 2 guys in the car. It lasted 15 minutes, and they were gone.
Very responsive. So you've all seen John's excellent memo, and so I think our question really is, who should we distribute this to?
unless, I mean, people may have editorial suggestions.
I just read it for content, but I can read it over one more
She
time.
sent that.
Was that in the big packet?
Martha sent that in the big packet.
Yeah, Deanie mentioned by phone seeing town trucks, red town trucks speeding, and coincidentally in this part of the district.
Right, it was
I had one roar by yesterday.
by your house.
Yeah.
Amy, do you have the copy?
Yeah.
Also, you have Amazon and FedEx and UPS.
Well, and now you have
Amazon.
like DoorDash and like unmarked
Right.
outside deliveries coming through, and they
It's
just,
$25 an hour.
I went.
I agree with that, just the directionality is wrong.
Right.
So it should be 40.
Just reverse
Yeah,
north
just
and
reverse.
south.
I don't think it's fair just to say it's town trucks because
Oh,
I say it's
goodness.
Amazon. On my street, it's Amazon drivers.
Whatever, we can't specify.
I wouldn't
Right.
specify at all.
Yeah,
right.
because
I saw
Yeah.
construction.
There are others,
trucks
too.
I see the teenagers driving.
Right
Exactly.
by the town hall.
Right.
It's everyone, everybody.
So really, we're
knows
asking for the
COVID
speed limit to be enforced.
of
Yeah.
Going fast.
So, I think this is an excellent memo, and, with the fill-in information about the increasing push in town to bring more people into the historic district, it becomes even more critical.
That's what I wondered if you wanted to reference. It sounds as if we're in favor of bringing more people into the town center, which I felt that was a little bit, I wasn't sure about that. Do we want to include the reference to the possibility of the bridge being built, or just omit that sentence?
Well, it is a possibility. I don't say, I just said, should it be built, the traffic will increase significantly.
True. I didn't want it to be interpreted as
Fait accompli.
as either a fait accompli or an endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not stated that way, but I didn't want it to be interpreted that way. Maybe it says, reword it something like the consideration of a bridge
How about,
could increase.
Is it,
I like that.
I don't know.
Consideration,
Maybe-
or the consideration for changes along the Halls Road.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Just
wouldn't
that.
specify the bridge. I would say, can changes on adjacent business areas or Halls Road, impact Lime Street?
Good, that's good, right.
Yeah, that's really good. Yep.
And the second question or thought or comment was, do we generally feel that the 40 mile per hour speed is appropriate for the historic district, as a historic district speed? And I don't know. It's safety, it's character of the district that we're in charge of. But do we question? I question that, but I don't know if the commission feels like we should question that.
My concern, Russ, is, and this is the one issue I wanted to talk about, is what, if anything, we as a commission suggest rather than just passing on the information.
Right.
I don't see that we really have authority over stuff like speed.
Well, especially if it's a state road.
Right, and if it's a state road, or I think it would be beyond our jurisdiction to take the lead as a commission on proposing a change in the speed limit. We have authority to share. Let me.
Comments that were raised, right?
We have the authority to share with property owners and others information concerning preservation. Now, my guess is that the drafters had in mind sharing information about how to preserve old houses.
But it includes life.
It does.
Well, Yeah.
Character
I
of the village.
And I phrased it in terms of preservation of the district's character.
Character includes people walking and biking.
Well, just the overall nature of.
Yeah.
But all that it talks about is sharing information. We have authority to make proposals to the Planning Commission and the Zoning Commission. It doesn't say make proposals to the state. We do have authority to make proposals for changes in legislation, but that's not with a speed limit.
Well, maybe we can leave it just the way it is, John, so we're passing on the information that was brought to our attention and not make a recommendation, just so we don't have to negotiate the fine lines here.
Yeah, I support that, John. I think that's correct. Thank you for considering that. I agree with your statement.
Russ, when you approached the DOT with your concerns,
I didn't approach. It was another neighbor, and then the first selectman at the time. It's my understanding approached the DOT. Yeah.
I mean, do you know if they included Devin Carney in that conversation, because he's our state rep and he's the number 2 on the transportation committee?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
For a fact.
Well, I mean, one suggestion I have would just be to include him possibly as one of our CCs.
Why not?
I mean, there's no reason not to.
That's right. Seems a good idea.
Right.
So, that's all.
Okay. And do I have all the commissions, boards that should be copied?
Are we sending it to the police, to our town?
I think we should.
Yeah.
There's a director of public safety, right?
Is that the first selectman?
I don't know.
Do you want me to go ask?
Well,
We can ask after.
we can,
Yeah.
I would propose leaving it to Martha to look up on that, all these names.
Okay. But in addition to who you have here, John, selectmen, EDC, planning, I don't think we need HRIC, do you? Really?
No.
I mean,
Okay.
definitely the 2 people. Do we BCC, Tri-C and Brink, or do we, are they happy to have their name?
I don't know. I left their names out. Their names are in the minutes.
Okay.
So
Right.
if somebody
They
wants
just
to-
might not want it in there.
Right.
you
Well,
know,
so why don't we do a BCC to...
BCC to them, so they know that we've
Follow
heard
up.
them.
Yes. Follow it up.
Zoning, I don't know, school board? Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
school board.
Sure.
Let them know we're thinking about the
Safety of the,
Well,
children.
put it on their radar too.
yeah. And then,
No pun intended, actually.
I didn't even think of it.
I'll take it.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And Devin Carney,
And so the...
And the town police, however-
Adding the town police.
however that should be properly addressed.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
And my proposal, again, I think Martha's just unable to come today, but she's around.
Yeah.
And so she can fill it
That's good.
and set it up with the CCs. And,
Excellent.
So we're just going,
is it just okay to say from members of the Historic District Commission?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
That would be probably the resident state trooper.
Yeah. That's the right way to say it.
Good.
So we're switching out the north and south and just deleting the part about Halls Road improvements and a bridge and just saying contemplated changes along the commercial district.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Beth?
You might say nearby or adjacent commercial districts. Right? Or yeah.
Well, it is adjacent. It is adjacent.
It is.
Right. It just makes it more specific, and not a commercial district. It exit 72.
Okay?
Good.
Good.
So, is there a motion to circulate this information?
So moved.
I'll second.
I feel really good about this.
Me too.
You know, this is even though it may not be
All in favor?
precisely our... Oh, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I have a quick question for you before we dive into the sign policy. Reading the newsletter from the Phoebe Griffin Noyes Library this morning, there's a new statue of a griffin somewhere adjacent to
Right
the door. I haven't seen it, but is that in?
We can't bring up any issues that are not on the agenda
Oh, sorry.
at a
I've
special
noticed it
meeting.
too.
Sorry.
But
Policy. There's a statute policy in here. We should add that to our
List of policies.
October meeting. No, October meeting.
Oh, okay. Yes, there are other issues.
Maybe just one more.
Policy.
Okay.
I haven't seen this statute.
Yeah, I saw.
Check it out.
All right, are we ready to move on to the sign policy?
Ready.
Good. Well, thank you, John, for all of the work on this. And your questions, of course, invite diving in even deeper to this issue. So, do you have
September.
So I've made comments going through, I'm sure everyone else has. How do you think best just to begin at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, the new language, some of which we specifically adopted at the last, or was talked about at the last meeting, some of which is just my translation of themes that we talked about, is in italics, so we might breeze through, especially the early sections, and make sure we're okay with the italicized language, and then stuff. Middle of page 3 is one question under duration, and then style is, we didn't get to style or the later material last.
Well, beginning on page 1, the first italicized, the HDC regularly approves a variety of signs, I think is very nice. I think it has a very opening with an inviting sentence. So
Agree. The second sentence, the subsequent sentence, however, is not parallel in structure, so we may just tweak that. Highlights principles that the HD considers and about
Well,
which...
it needs a comma after considers. It highlights principles we consider. It also provides guidance concerning sign style.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we make it 2 sentences? Considers in its decisions
I just thought, you can tweak that, John, just not quite parallel.
right.
density, that was the next one. Density and number per property.
That's good.
Because it does alert people to the fact that particular issue is addressed later on. The numbers of signs and all of that, so.
In the next section, just for the sense of logic, I would reverse the order of signs that are located outside the district and signs in the historic district that are not visible.
Where are you?
Bottom of page 1. The HCC lacks authority over the appropriate language on the sign. I don't know why, it just seems as if we should consider the HDC signs first
Yes.
and outside the district
Yes.
second, but it's not an important point, just for,
Right,
just seemed
for
more
lacking
logical to
the
me.
authority over, I don't think so.
Yeah, I just thought of something. We have jurisdiction over buildings so long as any part of them is within the historic district. This was an issue with Pamela Hamilton. What do we do about a sign on a building if the sign itself is outside the district, but the building is in?
It's a structure,
Too picky.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Too
a
picky.
structure.
Yeah, too picky, don't need to go there. I
Right.
think it's okay.
Right, just see your issues.
Yeah, I just suggest reversing those to that small point.
I had a question under, oh, okay, no, at the top, so, there's, the top of the second page is also italicized.
Is that part of the series?
It would be,
The HCC lacks authority over?
well, we don't lack authority. It's just a separate paragraph, short one-sentence paragraph.
Pre-existing.
This,
You're addressing the signs that currently,
yeah,
before
and
the
it's
adoption.
not an elegant sentence.
If the page break weren't there, if this were not, there was no such page break, where would that
Right,
be
is that
flushed to the
part of
left margin and it would
Yes.
come under the HDC lacks authority?
No, I mean, it would be a vertical space after the three items.
To me, it's,
I don't know where to put it,
Yeah.
but I want to say somewhere that pre-existing structures, maybe just pre-existing structures, we're not looking at these policies with respect to pre-existing structures. That was a point
So
that Eric...
would it be
Eric-
made right at the top?
Don't mention
Yeah.
existing.
I mean, would it
Don't
be
mention
made right at the
existing.
outset, under Old Lyme Historic District has jurisdiction, and then that would be a
And then you
exception?
say these policies are effective when? So that I know that my old sign is safe? Is that what you're trying to
I just don't know
convey?
how to say that, but, or where to say it.
You don't want someone to have to read through all 7 pages and then find that they
think we
didn't
can
need
omit
to
it.
bother.
Can we omit it? It just seems as if it's,
Right.
it doesn't belong, I believe it doesn't belong where it's presently placed. I was trying to put it under procedure, but it doesn't really work there.
Well,
What do we-
why don't we put it under procedure, say,
Okay.
property owners are not required to submit a new C of A when one has already been approved, or something like that.
Signs
Is that
existing prior to
necessary?
the adoption of this
Well,
policy.
In my,
To me, it's confusing, so that's why I'm asking if
I
it's
think so
necessary.
too.
I do think some people might have a question if you don't have it in.
I do
They
too.
read this, they say, new policy, oh, no, I've had this sign, but it doesn't meet.
Right.
Maybe put it under
Right.
procedure then.
Or say that this policy is effective, or it's replacing, this section of the date, but when is this effective? If I have a little sign that says like 32 for my house number, am I gonna have to change that now? Because it's,
No, that's what you're trying to say.
Right, I'm
You
just
don't
trying to
have to
look
change
at it from, a
A
homeowner.
resident, yeah.
Is this specifically for the nonprofits and for businesses? Do I have to concern myself as a resident on this, in the historic district?
Let me take a shot, because we're not going to get through all this today, of moving it down to the first item under procedure, and maybe say affirmatively, I don't want to say signs that existed before this, because some signs don't have C of A's.
Right.
But signs that have a valid let me work on the
You're
language.
welcome, but John, I suggest it should be the second item, not the first item. In other words, you start, I think the first item is still that this new sentence that you're going to write perhaps be the second sentence, not the first.
Second sentence or after the first paragraph under procedure?
Yeah, I guess it's more than one sentence.
Okay. I got the point.
Hey, John, when you're writing that, I think a similar language would be for the lighting policy. In other words, lighting policy, it would be existing lighting. Folks don't feel like they have to go and change all their lights. Yeah.
Right.
Even though we'd like them to.
Okay.
Under principles, I like taking into account its primarily residential nature. You've added that.
Right.
Good.
And then I had a question under the third bullet, ensure that all institutions and allowable businesses. I just have this actually doesn't have to do with this particular policy as much as it's just a question. For example, we have learned that Rooster Hall has an allowable allows for hotel rooms. Airbnb used to be they could rent those.
Who does?
Rooster Hall, the Ludington House.
Oh.
So in a sense that is, we've been told by zoning, an allowable business. So I'm not sure this is anything we can address, but it just, that then becomes an allowable business and we're allowing
appropriate identification.
Right. I don't think we can change it. I just wanted to point out that so much of, there is gray area.
Mm-hmm.
John, I wondered about the sequence of the language. Assure that all identification signs, we're not assuring the institution that the institution has signs. We're assuring that the signs that they have are appropriate.
Right. Right.
So I think just a slight change there, and also the word appropriate is a little ambiguous. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It replaced some other word that was there that I thought was less appropriate than appropriate.
So something like ensure that all identification signs for institutions and allowable businesses.
Why not say ensure that identification signs for non-residential entities?
I like that better.
Okay, good. That's better.
That explains it. That actually eliminates
say about appropriate. And that they're promotional. We don't need to assure that they're promotional.
Well, that's a carryover from the existing policy, but we can take it out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means. Yeah, and
it means it means like the old line men have to advertise. That's what it's how I would read it.
Okay, all right. Well, if you put
ensure that all identification signs for non-residential properties. And then what would the rest of the sentence be? What's the point?
And like John said, for the Old Lyme Inn, doing a promotion, like, or the high school or fall fair or something like that. So it's a promotion that the non-residential properties are doing. So I agree that they should be able to conduct that and advertise.
And that's under temporary signs.
Yes, and that's getting
So promotional does have a sort of a short-term sense about it, that word.
Well,
I wasn't around when the previous handbook was being compiled, but my guess is the previous commission thought it's important to signal to businesses especially that we're not out to camp down your business.
So then is this bullet,
But we don't have to, we can do anything we want. We can leave out the whole thing, if that's better.
is the point of it to address promotional signs only, or is
No.
the point of it to address all signs?
I think, I would think,
Promotional will be
Under
temporary.
principles, it's all
Right.
fine. My
Right, so I think the principles need to be clear and concise, and then if you want to
Oh.
confront the promotional, that would be in the
in the
temporary
temporary sign. I think it has to do with the word promotional.
So then it would
Their
be
requirements,
sure that
their,
all identification signs for non-residential properties.
be appropriate, which is silly.
back to it.
I don't.
Well, why don't we leave it out? We have ensuring that signs are not incongruous with the historic or architectural aspects of the district.
Okay, good.
And just leave out 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay?
And the rest of it, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have an extra copy, another copy?
I gave my extra copy too.
I can share with that if you want it.
No, I just was thinking of Tammy.
Do you want?
I read it, but
I read it.
I'm following along.
Do you want to?
Yeah, look, it's important. I thought this was a very interesting point. The first paragraph
thought
under
that was
statutory,
very
that's very
comprehensive.
interesting. No changes.
Well stated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, in the third paragraph under statutory requirements, the italic language I think we agreed on, but just to double check that, do we want to refer to parallel zoning provisions in parentheses? I've kept them in this draft.
I think it's the only way to follow it. I mean, so I like having it in parentheses.
I don't think you need to state it, was my thought, because it's obvious with the parentheticals included what they are, and that you don't need to. My thought was you could delete that sentence. I think the way you've done it is very effective.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Just to shorten it and make it less complicated. I thought the rest of it was very well stated, John. I'm not sure we need the next. I think just for the purposes of simplicity, that the next one, approval of, could be perhaps omitted, that it's covered in the preceding section.
Which one then?
Do we need
First,
more?
which approval one?
Approval of a COFA application for sign does not necessarily mean
Oh,
zoning requirements
Next
have been met.
it may not be strictly speaking necessary, but I want to hammer people over the head with, club people over the head with
I was
that.
just going to suggest omitting it and going right to the next one, but that's fine. I think the next part, sentence, section is good. No suggestions?
Procedure?
On page 3,
Yeah, on
what
page
is
3.
that?
Oh,
Does that belong there?
no.
No. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I wondered about that too.
Okay.
John, I think maybe for clarity, since they might not know what you're suggesting, the property owner rather than a tenant must submit a C of A, or is that clear? Is that just,
There's no harm in being extra clear.
It was something we discussed, and we
It's a
agreed
blessing.
that it should be the property owner.
We did.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Holiday signs.
Oh,
I had it.
well, wait a second.
I think it's.
Under procedure, The last item makes the approval of paragraph, the fourth paragraph under statutory requirements, a bit redundant.
It does. Sort of work. Yeah.
I mean, we're
Said it
saying
twice. I'm listening with you.
the last,
Are you on page 3?
the last item on page 3 under procedure makes the fourth paragraph under statutory requirements redundant. The approval of.
Right, you don't have to say it twice.
Yes, good.
So just take it out where? Take it out under statutory and regulatory requirements?
Leave it in under, procedure. Good call.
This is so helpful. I thought I was had it all conquered, but no, that's good.
Hi guys, I need to jump off now.
Just when we need you, Russ.
Unfortunately, I have to go. You guys are doing a great job on this, so I will.
Next time, Russ.
Yeah, thanks, Russ.
All right,
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, Ed, you're authorized again.
Thank you.
I had, but for permanent signs, I mean, I don't mean to really get personal, but it did interest me about something like the Masonic symbol on my house. You know, because it says, owner, see, the sign identifying a business that is moved or closed within 30 days after it ceased to exist. You know, that's another exception to the, you know.
Except for.
Except for, right.
Eternal Lord sign.
It's an important sign. You know, I mean, there have been times when I've wanted to remove it, but I've always felt like I shouldn't remove it. That some later owner of the place could remove it if they wanted to, but I had too much of a connection to it.
Was that the original Masonic temple? Like, is that the original use?
As far as I
That
know.
was always there, I remember it.
Yeah, but I mean, for that structure, was it built for the Masonic?
Oh, was it there?
Yes.
Like, is that the original
It was the
use
post
of that
office.
building?
No, the post
It was
office.
a post office.
It wasn't for, that probably went up. The Masonic symbol went up after the photograph was taken that is in charm of the place.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep. So, it's no longer the business for which it was erected. Anyway, it's detail. I just thought I'd mention it.
Before we proceed, how long do we want to go?
I have to leave at 10 of 11. I mean, no later than 10 of 11.
I have to
So
leave no later than noon.
Good morning.
Another voice.
Is that Martha?
No, it's somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Teresa McShane, Padbrink 97 line. We had a little emergency this morning, and we were supposed to call in at 9:25. I just want to let you know we're on the line if you had any questions.
We go back to that? Yeah. Okay. Hi, Teresa. Thank you. When at your time slot, you weren't there, so we just moved on, but we'll go back to it.
Okay. We'll stay on the call then. Sorry about that. Thanks.
No, we can do it now. Teresa.
All right. So what we requested was drawing. Has everyone seen this?
Yeah.
Yes. Drawing and, yeah.
So, this is the barn, existing barn?
This is the barn and the sheds.
Right.
What's new is, Russ is now off the phone. Teresa, I know we discussed it at the last meeting, but what has changed between the first time you applied for this garden shed and now is that you've added this lean-to on the north side. Is that correct? that you've?
I think the change, I think, from the original application was that now that we have the barn with the color and the roof material, what changed really is we removed the application for a metal roof, and we're going to do all like materials. So basically it's the materials. So we're doing the vertical board and batten green with a brown shingle roof. Everything's going to be just like the barn. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But you added from the first. So what's new in addition to those changes is that the shed, the porch to the north, correct?
I think we have it.
Yeah, I think we had that originally, but yeah, that's the final design that I sketched out for you there. Because it never was really clearly, we had concepts earlier, some photographs of concepts. So the sketch you see, that's the actual what we had planned to do.
So the change is primarily materials, is that right, Teresa?
That's our understanding, yeah.
And the sketch that gives us a
Clearer.
more precise
Right.
picture.
And is the barn company that you use building this, or are you building it?
So that's a little up in the air. They won't build it. It's a little too small for them. So we're either going to find a contractor or we'll construct it ourselves. We have a lot of materials on site to basically repurpose for this.
When I had a question about what you're proposing as the base, you've got this existing stone foundation. Is that stone in the middle of it, and would that stone cover the full extent of the shed plus the lean-to portion?
So we measured it. The main shed will be on the base, and it'll be elevated, a few inches, probably.
Yeah, the shed's gonna have a floor, and we're gonna set it on that foundation that is filled with gravel. It's gonna set on top of that. We might have to put some piers into it to hold down the structure, depending what building wants from us.
And then the porch.
The existing foundation is 17 by 12 outside dimensions. And so the building is going to sit inside of that just a little bit. We don't intend on using the edges of the foundation structurally. We're just using them to retain the ground that's inside of it.
And to answer your question, the porch will overextend the foundation by a few feet.
Well, you've got, it looks like, oh, I see, by a couple feet.
Yeah.
So are you having a poured concrete flooring?
No, it'll be elevated.
It'll probably be sonotubes outside the foundation, probably 3 or 4 sonotubes supporting the porch floor underneath the lean-to.
I'm sorry,
And
what kind of tubes, Todd?
Sonotubes, pour the concrete into
Concrete tubes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but if they're outside the foundation, it doesn't.
So that would apply in the to the portion that overhangs the existing
Correct.
stone
Yes.
and gravel? Okay.
Yes.
And then you just lay wood over all of that?
Well, it'll be framed, and then there'll be a wood decking on top of the framing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you gotten the zoning and wetlands permits for this?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Do we need to see them?
No.
They need
Well.
to see them from us. I mean, the procedure is that they should come to us first and then go for those. But they did get permission for this garden shed from the HTC.
Yeah, and then we saw Dan after that, and he came out because you guys questioned whether or not, you questioned wetlands. So Dan did come out, and he looked at it and he had no issues with it, and I believe he gave us the permit.
What year was that done? Was that before
That was
COVID?
21.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And do you actually have a copy of that wetlands permit?
Not with us.
Yeah, we're in Maine right now, so we can look and see.
We can ask.
Like how long does wetlands?
Well, I think they're saying 2021.
2021, and Dan Beret should have some information on it as well. And but we can give you what we have when we get home.
Good, that would be helpful.
And was there a building there before? Was there a garden shed there?
We believe there was a building there. Yes.
Yeah.
We believe it was a chicken coop.
We don't really know. We just know the foundation was pre-existing, and we couldn't find any photographs. We just have an old photograph of the original barn, where the barn is, but we don't have photographs of outbuildings.
So will this be, the whole thing will be on the sonotube, so it'll kind of be like a chicken coop that'll be an elevated floor?
That's the plan.
And which way will this, the front porch or the front door, to speak, will it be facing
North.
the road?
Facing north,
Yep.
I think.
No, I'm sorry.
Or,
The narrow front door faces Lime Street,
And then this is all.
and the lean-to faces north,
Two door faces
Correct.
north.
the lean-to portion.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Teresa, the photograph, the black and white photograph that I was looking at shows field stones around the original cement base, or I think you said it was a gravel base. Are those field stones?
Right. So those field stones were there. Those were pre-existing. And then go ahead.
Will the field stones remain, or how do they work with the tubes? That's what I'm not clear about.
Right. We'll want to retain that as much as we can. So whatever disruption we make with the tubes, we'll probably replace the field stones to hide them.
So they'll be visible on three sides, the field stones?
4 sides probably. Well, under the porch. No, you're right. 3 sides, because one side will be under the porch. You're correct. We'll make it look good, though. We want it to blend right in like it's been there forever.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, but because you've done that before. But I think we also want to be clear on exactly how this new structure is going to work and what it's going to look like.
Sure.
The floor, the base. So I'm still a little unclear. There's going to be wood decking on top of the cement, which is anchored by these tubes.
No, the tubes are the support for the
The
like
tubes
piers.
are the support.
for the joists.
So that the cement sits on top of these 4 tubes,
No.
and then there's wood decking.
There's cement in the tubes.
They're cement columns. Then the floor, the sill will rest on top of the cement, and the floor, create joists on top of the sill and put a floor and then build it up.
And the floor will be decking, wood. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm clear. Thank you. I'm sorry I was slow on that.
No, it's okay. I didn't have that sketched out in detail to that degree, so apologies. But
We're going to make the sonotubes. We're going to make the sonotubes as short as possible. So we don't want it to look like it's standing above the gravel foundation. We want it to look like it's sitting on the gravel foundation. So the sonotubes will be probably level with the gravel, or maybe an inch higher, whatever the building department needs us to to secure it to the ground.
And then easily camouflaged with, we have so many rocks and boulders and things like that, we can easily camouflage everything.
We're all set.
Does zoning and building have this sketch?
No, because we need you guys first, correct?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And we haven't started this project. We started it with you, but we went to inland wetlands and Dan came out and we haven't gone any further, and our intention is to go further.
So you're our first step, and then we'll take it from there.
Right, so they had approval initially, and then because it's expired,
Yes.
we asked them to come back and redo it.
Well, and
there's
there's some changes, so
And there's
that's
been
why
some
we have the new application.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I think we're together.
I think I understand it, but I wouldn't mind seeing a drawing.
I don't know what these sonotubes look like, but they're going to be, we're not going to see
Do you
them.
need more than this? Do you need
Yeah, I
more?
have that, thank
Oh.
you, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about it.
The sonotubes are just a vehicle to pour the cement into, and they peel away the cardboard that creates the tube, and visually you have a concrete column.
So it's like a
Carolyn,
pre-made
you've seen-
pier.
Yeah, now I understand, I just
Well,
don't know the
it's-
name.
I mean,
right.
it's still the concrete.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not,
Creates the structure,
Yeah,
the support.
the
Right,
support.
it makes them
And then
appear.
on top of that, they set the sills,
Right.
and then they build.
So we obviously don't wish to see that.
Right.
And we also don't wish for the building to appear propped up.
Well, she said,
And that's what Teresa was just
Yeah,
addressing.
that's
Yes.
We will use, if it's agreeable with you guys, we'll just use boulders that we have, not boulders, but go ahead, Todd.
We're, like I said, if you see the picture of the foundation now with the gravel and the stone periphery, we're probably going to have to go inside of that perimeter and put some sonotubes in that go down to below frost, probably 3 feet, 3.5 feet down below frost. And then the top of those sonotubes, we're hoping to be at the gravel or just a little bit above it.
So you will not see them.
You won't see the sonotube.
they're going to be inside the perimeter of the existing foundation.
Not at the outer
Correct.
edge of the lean-to.
Correct.
At the outer edge of the lean-to, they'll be outside the existing foundation.
Correct.
Okay.
So you'll basically see the stones, the rocks that you're looking at.
Which is nice, to keep the rocks. And that's important, I think, to...
And that's the appeal of us too, is
Yeah,
to
make it
utilize
look
some of the
historical.
existing and so.
Okay.
We share your goals. We want it to look historic.
I appreciate that.
Just the side that faces Lime Street, will you,
Mhm.
on the porch, will you see the sonotube, the cement?
No, because that'll have the boulders.
No.
so the west-facing side of
The edge of the porch.
what he's talking
The
about.
corner of the porch? Yeah. We'll put boulders in.
Yeah, we'll make it look congruent with the existing foundation. We might put some stones along that north under the porch floor to come out to the sonotube. The sonotube will be as close to grade as we can make it.
We don't want to see it either.
No, understood. So there will not be boulder or fieldstones along the edge of the porch floor on the west side.
I don't.
That's new,
The
because
front.
that's a new, right.
No, the west
Are
side.
you talking about? Like hardscaping the ground? Are you talking about stacked stone?
The
Are you talking stacks?
The question, Todd, is you've got existing boulders, and we're concerned or asking about where those would continue to exist, and in particular at the front door, the side facing Lime Street. There are boulders there now. The shed could be put inside those. But is that your plan?
That's a great point, because we'll probably want to have some sort of wooden ramp, right? Or a gravel.
Or have a grade ramp. To access the door, I can envision some stones going down to grade and filled in, and maybe some blue stone or some flat stone paving, if you will, going up to the door, going down. So you could roll a wheelbarrow out, or you could roll a lawnmower out, or...
We even have flat rocks that we could use. We have some beautiful flat, is that granite?
I'm sure they do. It's a beautiful site.
But yeah, that's a great point. We want to roll into that too.
I would hate to see you move those beautiful flat rocks, granite rocks, from where they seem to make a crossing across that wetland stream. They're beautiful where they are. You want to move those. Those I don't think you want to move from their existing position.
Oh, no. You mean our... Oh, no. We're not going to touch those.
Right where they are.
No, we have a lot of extra material on the property that small. It'd be much smaller.
We're not going to touch that bridge in the back.
No, we would never.
Beautiful.
That goes back about 250 years.
Yeah, that's an important piece. No, but I guess the point we're making is we do want there to be somewhat of a flat surface going up to that barn, to the shed door, to be able to roll something in and out. But we'll probably use natural materials to create that. Is that enough information at this point?
I think maybe not. We would need to know because that would make another change, right? Yeah. So we would need to know that.
Well, okay. So, the landscaping around it, we haven't given that. We haven't firmed that up yet.
Okay.
To get the machine.
Okay, and what we envision is using natural materials, stone, most probably stone and fill, just to make a ramp, and maybe with some sort of, blue stone, slate, something like that, pavement, dry laid, to get into it, and because stone is a big feature of this property, and we have a lot of stones, and I'm not talking about reusing stones that are already being used.
Yeah.
We're going to do something of that.
We have a lot of flat pieces.
But we haven't, what we want to do is make sure we can get this shed built before we go and start doing all the landscaping and hardscaping around it. It's going to be minimal. It's not going to be like a patio or something.
Do you guys want to know exactly what that... Go ahead.
Well, here's our question. We are concerned that one way to do this is you build the shed, then you come back with another C of A for an entry rail. That's one possibility. Another possibility is to approve something now.
So if we told you that we're going to use a couple...
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, if we tell you now that we will use a couple of flat pieces of stone at that door facing Lime Street, is that sufficient? That's probably all we'll do.
We have the flat stones.
Yeah, when we have them on the property.
Okay. I guess... I'm speaking just personally now. My concern would just be that you use natural materials, real stone, rather than any type of asphalt or poured concrete.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we have on the property, some beautiful flat stones that may have been stairs at one, I don't know, but we have lots of that on the property, all natural material.
Okay. Do you want me to take a shot at a motion with my notes, or we?
I mean, I think that since this has already been approved, not this, but something similar. I mean, we've come this far. And I think it's important that we have natural stone on that. Very important.
Yes.
No poured concrete. No poured concrete steps here. No, nothing like that.
Right.
And to make you guys, put you a little bit at ease, the back of the house had a lot of granite and brownstone squared steps that we reclaimed. We have them in storage on the property, and our intent is probably to reuse those.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone out and physically measured them to make sure everything's going to fit, but, you know, even with a little bit of cutting if required, there was stone steps behind the house that were removed where the porch is now on the house.
Are those brownstone or granite?
I think it's both. I think there's both. I think I have granite and brownstone.
Right. And which would you envision using for this ramp up to the door, to the barn? The shed?
Well, to be a little bit vague, I'm going to say one or the other. Like I said, I'm not there. I don't know exactly if I have enough of the brownstone or if I have enough of the granite. But I think I have enough of one of them.
All right. Well, let me make a motion, and then we can see what's on the table. Or is it other comments?
I just have one concern because I am a budding property owner to this property. So when you say that this might be self-built, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like then. If you're going to build it and you really don't have a plan, if like a builder would give us a plan and then as HDC we go along with that plan and that's the expectations. So I don't know what to expect as a neighbor of what you're really going to build if you're going to build it yourself.
Okay.
So
well, you have okay. There is a sketch there, and we'll follow the sketch whether I build it or a builder builds it, the barn builder. I am a mechanical engineer. I follow drawings. I don't cobble stuff together. So if that's your concern. And Maura, which neighbor are you?
I'm the vacant lot on Parsons property.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you see our barn, right? It's going to look like that.
Okay, but you also know that there's been, complaints to the HTC regarding your property. So I'm speaking right now as a neighbor that I would like to know what it looked like, before. Or I mean, I guess I can't because I'm speaking as a neighbor right now, but I'm just a little concerned, and I'd also like to make sure that you have the proper wetlands approval.
And what complaints are you referring to? What complaints are you referring to?
That people had spoken regarding things, piles of wood and tarps and things on your property. We mentioned this to you months ago, but I'm just concerned, and I would like to see your wetlands information because me as a property owner, I know that I have to be very careful with, building or trying to sell that lot going forward with wetlands.
Correct. So as far as I'm concerned, condition of the lot is a zoning issue, and as far as I'm concerned, we've had no complaints with zoning. Last year, about this time, we had a historic meeting. It was over a year ago concerning a fence, and we did have some comments about the blue tarp on the firewood pile and supposed commercial vehicles, which we don't have.
None of those are historic commission.
And so those, as far as I know, those comments have gone away. The wood pile has been It was tarped over with a different color tarp, and then eventually the firewood pile got moved about 9 months ago. And I'm not aware of any issues whatsoever in the last year. And it wasn't months ago, it was over a year ago. Okay.
I think that's fair. I think that complaint that he responded to that complaint.
Okay, but as a neighbor, that's just my my concern, that it's going to be probably self-built, so I don't really know what you're going to build. So, but that's fine. I'm not going to I'm going to recuse myself from this project for the HDC.
Okay. I mean, you're right, Todd. Our concern is that was a neighbor speaking. Our concern is with the structure and the your what you proposed in your C of A. Let me take a shot at making a motion that we approve the C of A, which reflects changes from the originally approved C of A, with the conditions that the support for the flooring consists of sauna tubes that extend only as far above ground as needed for support, that those be covered with a wooden flooring, that the existing field stones be kept around three sides of the structure to the extent possible, given the need for access to the doorway, and that access to the doorway be, the front doorway be composed of natural materials covered with flat stones.
And
go ahead.
And this all contingent on new permission from wetlands?
Yes, and that I think that goes without saying. I mean, we approve it. Wetlands has to approve it. We would appreciate it if just for completeness, Todd and Teresa, if you could send a copy of the wetlands report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that have an unlimited? Do they have a date? Does the wetlands permit expire at any point?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So we'll either find what we had, or we'll, just we know we need to get a permit from wetlands. Typically, that comes after your approval. If we have it now, we'll definitely get it to you. If not, we're going to have to get it after your approval. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We know we can't build this thing without a wetlands permit, so.
And we can't build it without a building permit.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Tammy has recused herself. So abstention, Deb, sorry. So abstention officially, I guess, yeah. Okay, thank you both.
Oh, thank you. And again, apologies about this morning, missing our time slot. And thanks for your patience with this repeated application.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, take care.
I would suggest, already 10 up.
We walk.
I think we should walk and come back to the sign policy. I mean, at a time yeah, I don't know any other solution. We ended up with 5 things on the agenda today, so.
Do you want to pick a time now or later? I'm just going to have to go, so I'm ready to...
You mean to do another special meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, in October?
Okay.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Let's check with Martha, because I'm trying to decipher my notes. It's very helpful if she's here.
Right,
Yeah, we did.
Page 3.
We did, and we've gotten these things off the agenda,
Yeah.
so that's
So,
great.
before we adjourn, should we, I guess we need to step outside. So, is anyone else on the call now? I think we're set.